My name is Megan, and I'm going to read The Tough Princess by Martin Wardell and Patrick Benson. Once upon a time, there lived a king and a queen who weren't very good at it. They kept losing wars and mucking things up. They ended up living in a caravan beside a deep, dark wood. The king is the one with the frying pan, and the queen is the one trying to fix the roof. One day, the queen told the king that she was going to have a baby. "Have a boy," commanded the king. "He will grow up to be a hero, rescue a princess, marry a rich princess, and restore all of our fortunes." "Good idea," said the queen. But when the baby came, it was a girl. "Never mind," said the king. "She will grow up to be a beautiful princess. I will annoy a bad fairy and get the princess into bother. And then a handsome prince will come and rescue her, and we will all go off and live in his castle." "Good thinking," said the queen. "We'll call her Rosamond." "Ah," said Rosamond. The princess grew up and up and up until at last there wasn't room for her in the caravan. The king got her a tent and pitched it outside. "It's time you were married, Rosamond," the king told the princess on her 17th birthday. "Yes, Dad," the princess said, "but—" "I'll go off and arrange it," said the king. The king went off into the deep dark wood to annoy some bad fairies. The first fairy the king met was no use. She was a good one. She didn't even get angry when the king called her names. The second fairy was bad, but she was only a beginner. She turned the king into a frog for making faces at her cat, but that spell wore off. The third fairy was very bad. This is her. The king was awfully rude to her. "Aha!" cried the bad fairy. "What do you love most of all?" "My daughter Rosamond," cried the king hopefully. "I will cast a spell on her," cackled the bad fairy, who wasn't very bright, and she darted off to go and do it. "Goody!" cried the king, because the get the princess a rich prince plan was working. The bad fairy came across Princess Rosamond, picking buttercups in a glade. "Aha!" she cried. "I am the bad fairy, come to cast a spell on you. 7 years shall you lie until a prince comes passing by." Biff went Princess Rosamond, and she knocked the bad fairy out, bent her false teeth, and bust up her glasses. "You rotten, ungrateful thing, Rosamond," said the queen, picking up the bad fairy. "I'll catch my prince my own way," said Princess Rosamond. And the next day she borrowed the king's bike and she rode off to find her prince. Rosamond had a lot of adventures. She slew dragons and great worms and black knights. She rescued several princes who were quite rich, but she didn't like them, so she put them back. She did all the things a heroine should do to catch a prince, but she didn't catch her prince. Princess Rosamond grew tired of rescuing princes and killing dragons, and her front wheel got buckled in a fight against a 100-headed thing. And in the end, she set off for home, carrying her bicycle. Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad. Hello, Bad Fairy, said Princess Rosamond when she got home. Where's your prince, then? Said the king, and the queen, and the Bad Fairy, who had moved in by this time. Haven't got one, said Princess Rosamond. What about us? Cried the king, and the queen, and the Bad Fairy. What are we supposed to live on if you can't come up with a prince? That's your problem, said Princess Rosamond. I'm not going to. And then she saw the sign. This way to the enchanted prince. I'm doing this for me, said Rosamond firmly, and she set off into the deep dark wood. You lot can look after yourselves. She bashed up several goblins and ghouls and the odd fairy, including several good ones by mistake. And finally she won through to the enchanted castle. On a flower-strewn bed in the castle lay a beautiful prince. Rosamond gave him a great big smacky kiss. The beautiful prince opened his eyes and took a look at Princess Rosamond. Quaw! What a liberty! He cried, and he biffed her one right on her beautiful nose. And Rosamond, she biffed him one right back. It was love at first biff. They biffed happily ever after. The king and the queen lived happily ever after too. And the Bad Fairy, she got even worse.